Here's an example where we're graphing a tangent function. It's a little more complex one, and they're giving us 4 options for the answers. Could this function be that graph? Or is it this graph? Is it this graph? Or is it that graph? It's one of those 4 options. Which one is it? Well, let's look at the characteristics here. We have y equals 2 tangent 4x plus 2. And we better put a 0 out here just so we can identify the a, the b, the c, and the d. Because the same thing as there, being a plus 0 off to the right, because that doesn't change anything. And in fact, let's start with that. That is the vertical shift. That's the vertical shift. So that means it's up 0 at the center. Then let's calculate the horizontal shift, the sideways shift, and that formula is negative c over b. If you look on the notes, negative c 2 over b 4. So the horizontal shift simplifies to be negative a half, doesn't it? So that means the center is back a half up 0, right? Because that's the horizontal shift is the x, the vertical shift is the y. So the center is back a half up 0. Back a half up 0. Let's see if we can find that. So back a half up 0, it should be right there. There's the point, back a half up 0. Wrong. It's not, the graph's not going through that point. It should be. So that one's out. Back a half. No, this one's out too. Back a half. Oops. You write it right here. Back a half up 0. Wrong. There it is. Perfect. Back a half up 0. And this one's looking good too. Back a half up 0. So those 2 are still in the running. They have the right center point. Back a half up 0. Now, where are we going to go from there? The a is positive. That means positive 2. We don't care about the 2. It's just we care that it's positive. But the reason we don't care, the 2 just means it goes up faster than if it was a 1. But these graphs go up forever. So it's hard to see if they're going faster or slower. It doesn't make a big difference visually. But plus means up to the right instead of down. So the snake should be going up to the right instead of down. But I believe they already are. Yeah, so this is going up to the right. And this is going up to the right. So they already are. So that's not going to help us much. So what will help us, though, is the period. It's always about that period, which is pi over b instead of 2 pi over b like it was for sine and cosine. So pi over b, what's b? Bonk, it's that 4. Pi over 4. Now, what's pi over 4? I mean, like what kind of number? Pi over 4. Pi is about 3, right? So it's about 0.75, right? It's about 3/4. About. That's it. You don't need a calculator for this, right? You know that 3/4 of a dollar is 75 cents. Pi is about 3, so that's about 3/4. It's about 0.75. It's a little more. Pi is a little more than 3, so it's a little more than 0.75. Okay, so what does that mean then? Remember what the period is. That's how far to the next cycle, because the period's the width of every cycle. So that's how far the cycles are spaced out from each other, 0.75. So let's go look at the 2 that are still candidates. From here to there, does that look like it's about 0.75? And from here to there, does that look like it's about points? No way on this one, right? Because this is negative a half, and this is 0. Here's 1 here. This thing hasn't even made it to 0. If it made it all the way to 0, that would be a half, right? Going from negative a half to 0. It's less than a half. So this period is less than 0.5. It's the wrong period, isn't it? Right? How far from cycle to cycle is less than a half? It's less than 0.5. So no way it's 0.75. How about right here? Yeah, this looks good. This looks like about 0.7. How do you know? Well, from here to here is about 0.5, right? That's half. And this looks like another about a quarter. Yeah, that looks right. That's right. This is our answer. Has the right period, has everything else right. So it's all about finding that period, how far from one cycle to the next cycle the snakes go up. It's got the right center. There it is. That's the graph of, what was it? Y equals 2 tan 4x plus 2. 2 tan 4x plus 2 with a 0 out there for no vertical shift. There we go.